If you're like me, and you got no life and there's nowhere to go, then tune in to the Animation Truman Show. You'll be glad you did.
And I am live. So, well, today didn't live stream in the morning because I am pretty kind of in the audio zone today. Now, Nagut did say he was interested in that, and I made. That's been modified. Okay. Quite a lot of progress today. I'm not sure exactly how far along I am in webisode 2, but it looks like, gosh, as far as the audio side of it, probably more than halfway. So, and that's in one day, so that's pretty good. So anyway, we'll see who shows up tonight. If Maria shows up, then she'll be enthused to hear how her voiceover actually worked its way into the show. So Maria Torres is a living proof that you can get an IMDb credit and be a voice talent in a real animated cartoon, because she did it, and she did a great job. So anyway, those of you who know Maria from seeing her around here will probably find that a bit interesting. So tonight's tasty beverage, and by the way, I'm not going to go over any of the post-production material until some people show up. So just to be safe, I'm going to do my due diligence right now and make sure that the live stream is live. It looks like it is. So it looks like we are as live can be. Although, I have to say, oh, I see. Never mind. I was looking at the preview and I was like, wait, that doesn't seem to be playing live. So unfortunately, nobody's at the moment particularly interested in this. So what I expect I will do is just keep rocking forward on some touch-ups on the show, and then we will, as I say, when some people show up, we'll go ahead and get into the kind of recapping some of the things that have been going on for the last couple days in the audio post-production department. And by the way, significantly not music. This actually has there's a bunch of music from the last episode that's in this project, but I'm leaving the music off because I really want to build out the voices and the Foley sound effects, things like that. So Foley, if you don't know what Foley is, that's when you're making a film and you have to create the just the sounds of things like footsteps, just little things that kind of make it feel like it's like you're really there or whatever. Then that's what Foley is. So it's sound effects that are usually performed live in the studio, kind of the way Hollywood does looping or dialogue replacement, which is basically that you watch the movie or the show and then you kind of perform along with it. In fact, it's kind of funny. I'm going to grab my hat here and show you something. I figured out that this sound is a great sound effect for when Monkey, when he leaves the scene, whereas when he shows up, it's more like this. But anyway, these are the sort of fun things we get to do in the world of cartoons. So This shot. This shot actually looks like a great candidate for a little bit of a touch-up. I'm not sure I'm loving the body highlight effect on that shot. So why don't we go ahead and pull up 089, see what we can do with that. All right, so this is the shot I just did. This will maybe be kind of interesting. I started with this drawing, which was a drawing from quite some time ago, and there's a few things about it that I wasn't totally whippy on as far as the characterization. It's kind of weird because it works really well in another shot. But so I created these two drawings for this shot because I had it being flipped horizontally over here. I'm like, well, that's stupid. I could just bake that into the drawing. So anyway, again, we have no concurrent viewers, so unfortunately on Thursday nights I'm just not popular, but that's okay. It was short notice, so I'm hoping maybe some of my good friends, meaning you guys, will show up maybe by 7:30. So no worries. I see something that needs to be fixed anyway in this particular graphic. So we've got these two shots of Tianara. The only difference between them being that she blinks her eyes. But look what was left out. The sorry, wrong screen. The pendant. So what we're gonna do, let's go find. I guess we could put this on the preview here. So I need to find the pendant. Okay, so the pendant basically hangs down to that border point. Right. Okay. So, and by the way, definitely seeing the lower section of this hangs down a bit lower in that first wide shot when we first see her. I wonder if I think I'm going to touch that up too. So let's fix. Well, of course we'd want to fix this first before we put the pendant in, also because the pendant's going to have to be over top of it. So looks like we now have one concurrent viewer. Please identify yourself. I always like to know who's out and about and hanging out. Hanging out. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can do this with liquefy. That would probably be fine. That her bosom might be a little bit strong there. Okay, cool. So now it's going to be elementary, my dear Watson, to just push that down a little bit. I don't want to change the overall shape too much, but that is better. Okay, cool. So now that we've got that straightened out, let's go in and touch up the outline just a skosh, because of the manipulations I did to the Saint Tori. Hey Saint Tori, I'm hoping Maria, who's almost always here when I live stream, I'm hoping she'll show up tonight because she sent me a voiceover for one of the parts in the show, and she just did a great job on it. So I figured she would enjoy hearing what her animated cartoon debut sounds like, because it came out really cool. Okay, so we got that, and then I think what I'm going to do is I had touched this up a bit on the Tahoma side of things, but I'm just going to go ahead and clean it up here. People always ask me, like, what's the better software, Tahoma or Krita? And the basic rule of thumb is that I just use them interchangeably. I've become fairly agnostic lately. Like, I don't really care which software I'm using at the time. It's just like whatever's the right tool for the job, and they do a lot of the same things well, sort of. So basically, for painting, Krita wins, and for for animation, generally, Tahoma wins. That's the basic rule of thumb. But really, there's so much overlap between the two that they do a lot of the same kinds of things. So, anyway, so I just want to smooth this line out a little bit. And then what I need to do is I need to make a copy of this to so that it's in the iBlink version and the non-iBlink version. So the way we do that is we just go Control-C, and then come back over here, and we're going to go Edit, Paste into Active Layer. There we go. Now we'll just save both of these. Save, save, save. Okay, so here's a rule for you. If you have raster levels in Tahoma, in particular, like we have here, where they're being edited externally, very, very important that when you jump back over to Tahoma, do not go save all. You don't want to do that. If you do save all, the previous version of these drawings will actually get saved from here. So what I want to do is I want to just save my work using other save options, save the scene, just save the scene, but don't save the art that's in the scene. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you, Saint Tori. I think that's true. Okay, we'll pull it back up, and now all the drawings have been updated. Okay, I'm seeing one thing though that's a little strange. Why am I seeing like, that's weird. That is weird. Well, every once in a while you get things that are weird. Oh, I guess that explains it. We might have a lock condition here. Why does that look like it's processing? That's very strange. Let's turn it off and then back on. Yeah, that's weird. Well, no big tragedy. Here's what we'll do. First of all, just keep things simple. I'm going to hit Control E and bake that's just a little, this layer is just a touch up of the shadow. Okay, so what we want to do is this one's correct. So let's just do the opposite of what we did a few minutes ago. Let's just take this whole segment here, Control C, and then probably what we want to do here, I got to think about this for half a second, because what I need to do is delete everything that's a little bit hokey, so it's definitely gone. Let's just delete all this stuff. Okay, so then I can go I can go Edit, Paste into Active Layer. Okay, now, and I screwed it up. See that? See what I did? I bit out a little bit more than I should have. So, hey, Mar. Gosh, I hope Maria shows up tonight, because she's officially in the cast of my show now. Now, I was really proud of her. She just, she just nailed it. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's see if I get luckier this time. Paste into Active Layer. That looks better, but not good enough, unfortunately. There's some subtleties here that need to be addressed. Shoot. So I'm going in erase mode. Every once in a while you get into a pickle like this where you've got a bunch of sort of minutia that you have to fight with a little bit, and sometimes those types of things wind up taking more time than everything else. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save each of these, and So, okay, so there we go. See, this, it was kind of weird because it looked like it was doing some processing here. You know, you had sort of like a little progress thing that was only about a third of the way through, and it was just locked. So, but it looks like everything's back to normal. So, that means we can come back over here, and we can, once again, just reopen the project, and Tahoma just blew up. So, hey, Nagut. So, well, I mean, what do you say about that? I mean, if Tahoma's gonna blow up, this type of work where you're doing sort of interchange between two different programs is kind of a strong candidate for when that might happen. But it looks like we're okay. Yep, looks like we're okay. Other than, okay, so see that little anomaly right there? The plastic tool mesh is, because the picture changed a little bit, the plastic tool mesh is actually not sort of encompassing the perimeter like it should. But that's easy to fix, so this will be a little lesson for you when you're dealing with the plastic tool. And by the way, this is pretty significant. I mean, look at this is just a static drawing, right? But just the plastic tool adds so much, just makes it pop, you know? So, anyway, like I said, I hope Maria shows up because she's going to want to hear her cartoon debut. Okay, so because the picture changed a little bit, the mesh is kind of chopping it off. Now, there's a hidden benefit to this. One thing that you may not have thought of with the plastic tool is that when you generate the mesh, if you do it with a mesh margin that's like 1, really, really tight, you can actually use the plastic tool effectively to crop shadows to your character. It becomes a mask, in effect. But anyway, all I'm doing is I'm just going into edit mesh mode. I'm just going to expand this out a little bit. That's all. That's all it took. Now when we go back here in animate mode, you'll see that now everything is back in business. So now with that, I better render this. And Maria, are you here? Are you here, Maria? Somebody's here. We got Nagut, Amar, St. Tori, and somebody else. So I'm wondering who the somebody else is. Because, boy, if Maria doesn't show up, that would be pretty unusual. I can't remember the last time she didn't show up on my live stream. So, okay, so we'll come back over here and kind of sort of check out. Where is that? Where is that bit? This is up here. There it is. Okay. So, Mom's kind of scolding her a little bit, blah, blah, blah. I love it. I love it. It's what I call secondary animation. Just that little bit of extra life you can squeeze out of a single drawing with the plastic tool and other tools. I didn't really do much animation yesterday. I was really kind of I shouldn't say that. I did a lot of drawing and kind of re-kicking the tires of Blender, actually, because there was a shot that I had to basically what I'm doing here with the plastic tool is doing the same thing with an image sequence mapped to a plane and then subdivided and then using shape keys, which is way more powerful than the plastic tool. Like, my dirty little secret is, if you're like me and you're basically using Tahoma for its animation capabilities, but you really like drawing and painting and Krita better, the dirty little secret is that Krita plus Blender is actually a better combination than Krita plus Tahoma. But I don't like to say that because, well, most of the people around here are kind of looking for something that's a gentle learning curve, and Tahoma's the best of the bunch in that regard. But it's still a lot to learn. So, anyway, I'm a little disappointed because I really was pretty sure Maria would show up tonight. So, but since she didn't, and we're 23 minutes into this, I guess you guys can get in on the goods before she does. Meaning what? Well, this is what I've been doing today. Now, I don't want to show too much of this because, frankly, I don't want to give too much away. So what I was going to show you guys is the, what'd you say, Val? Oh, she's just yawning. So I redid the show intro. So the show now has an abbreviated intro that's 30 seconds instead of a minute. Okay? So what you'll get to see here is the abbreviated show intro, and then when the show begins, that woman right there is what Maria voiced for me. Okay? So here it is. So you just get this first little section.
My name is Asher, and this is the story of Melchizedek, Tianara, and Luka, 3 youngsters and a monkey in a desperate quest to save their land. Everyone be patient, there's plenty for all. There you are.
Bless you, Asher. I wish we didn't need the help, but with the king's taxes so high...
Oh, it's nothing. Where is Melchizedek?
Hey, cool monkey.
Oh, you mean him? Oh, he just follows me around.
Okay. That's all you get. So, gosh, is there anything useful? I will say that I gotta show you this one more time. Maria, what she did was she actually sent me 3 versions of this. So there's one version that's doesn't really have an accent, and
You are.
Bless you, Asher. I wish we didn't need the help, but with the king's taxes so high...
Oh,
I thought she nailed it. I really thought she nailed it. Just spanked it. So she did 3 versions, one that was basically an American accent, and then this one, and then another one that was kind of in between the two, you know. So, well, it just goes to prove that if you want to be a voice in an animated cartoon, you just never know where the opportunities might appear. So, yeah, what I've been doing today is laying in the voices. I could show you this little bit right here because this will show you
Arms for the blind.
this right here.
Of course. How can I help?
Nice voice, huh? That's my daughter, Natalie.
Of course. How can I help?
And I ain't gonna lie, I like the way the feel of Tianara came out. It's kind of reminiscent of Katara in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, that really wasn't my goal. I mean, I just figured, since she's my daughter and she's always available, I figured she should at least take a poke at it. And that's the way it came out, and it's like, wow, nice. I find it interesting that we're down to 2 concurrent viewers. So basically, this just doesn't, it's just not very interesting. Okay. It's funny. To me, it's like, so cool. I love this stuff. I've been really having fun cranking away on the audio today. So now I'm just kind of going through and... Oh yeah, I said that shot of Luka. Okay, let's go back here. So Luka is actually, he's supposed to be Indian, so he is actually Sadhguru. So I did this the other night. I was speaking through much of the live stream using sort of an Indian voice, similar to Sadhguru. And then what I have to do is find the voice as Sadhguru, and then I have to raise it up much higher. Once I raise it up much higher, I can do the voice of Luka. And then perhaps add a little bit of extra pitch. So I think Luka is actually pitched up a half step, just a little bit, just a tiny bit. But it is kind of funny that I have to do it that way. I have to first become Sadhguru to find the inflection and the accent. And then, having done that, then I can raise up the pitch and make it work. I should say, make it work. The W's and the V's get reversed. Reversed with the Indian accent. Okay, so with Luka, that's the shot right there. So which is that? That's 86. All right. So again, I'm sure that probably this is like not very interesting, but by gum and by golly, people, this is the Animation Truman Show, and on the Animation Truman Show, it's unadorned, people. What you get to see here is the actual work. It ain't glamorous. It's just work, people. It's just work. This is what we do. You gotta write a script. You gotta do a storyboard. You gotta animate. You gotta do ink and paint. And then what I'm doing right now is you gotta do voices. You gotta do Foley. You gotta do post-production. You gotta create the music. Man, it's cool. Oops, I just loaded up the wrong shot, didn't I? Oh, I am so silly. Sorry about that, guys. Good job, dude. Finishing is always the goal. Finishing? I don't get it. Finishing is always the goal. Well, finishing is... finishing is... No, finishing isn't the goal for me. Because finishing is non-optional. There's no option. There are situations where you do make a conscientious choice to leave a project behind for whatever reason. This is interesting. But, oh, I know what this is. I'm seeing some residue right here, and I'm going to close this. It doesn't matter because this is I wasn't going to be working on this shot. But what we're seeing right here, see how everything's disappearing? That's because of the Tahoma nightly build implicit holds. And the implicit holds are not in force at the moment. So, not a big deal. Let's just ignore that. We'll come back to that later. If I ever need to make some amendments to that scene, well, by gum, the first thing that will happen is I'll notice that problem and deal with it then. So, let's go to the correct shot. Oop! I've blown it again, friends. It is not. Okay, I'm a little weirded out here. 89. I thought I loaded 089. Am I an idiot here? So no, the goal is not to finish. The goal is for it to be good, which for me means that it's entertaining. You're not going to satisfy everybody. My show is absolutely not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but the goal is the word, I think I used it the other day, the word is undeniable. In other words, as I say, it may not be your cup of tea, but anyone would at least agree that the quality... I think of it this way. You can't be great at everything, right? You can't be great at, say, music and animation and voices and blah, blah. But you can be above the threshold. I think of it as there's sort of a quality threshold. You want everything to be above the threshold. And it's because one thing can take the whole thing down in terms of the viewer's experience of it, you know. And so I'm always kind of being vigilant for those things. Is this a blurred background? Yeah, it is. Okay. So we have a problem. We have a problem because this is 089 as well. And I'm a little, and this is also, well, wait a minute. and this is 089. So this is a... So I'm thinking what I did here, friends, is I had a shot that was probably done in Krita, and then I decided to add to it. It's kind of crazy how I'll do this stuff and literally not remember what I did, but oops. Huh. Okay, this is weird. Oh, I see what the problem is. Sorry. For reasons I won't get into, that goes way back to when I was actually saving out my Krita files as ORA files as well, so they're compliant with my paint. We're talking a year ago or more. Got to have the minus sign in front of the 089. Okay. So now this is actually kind of interesting. I'm going to load this one up. I'll bet you this is the wrong one, though. Yeah, okay, so that was like a little pencil test concept kind of thing. But no, what I need is minus 089 ping.crop. I'll bet you that's the shot. Nope, that is a way, way ancient legacy version that's just horrible. Okay, I better start closing things up. Well, I have to say, it's good this happened live, because this is the kind of thing that should serve as a cautionary tale for you guys. Here's the reality. This does not happen very often. This does not happen very often, where I literally get confused about a shot and where the source materials are. But that's okay. Let's just coast with it for the moment. So what we need to do is, I'm going to switch back here. If you do a show like me where you've got 800 plus shots, this will happen to you. Trust me. Okay, so what we have is the original version of 089. And a couple weeks ago, it might have been 2 to 3 weeks ago, somewhere in there, I went ahead and said, you know what, I'd like to dovetail this into a close-up. And it actually wipes into it like that. Okay? So what we need to do is find out where these are. The wide shot I'm looking for the path. Usually we get a path. And for the first time ever, we don't get a path. Scenes 089 close up. I see what I did. Okay. So there's the close up. So the question is, if this is the close up and this is the render settings, then do I actually have two TNZ files? So forgive me guys for having to, and unfortunately Tahoma doesn't do like Krita where it shows me every file that matches the current file name. So I have to do this the hard way. I have to do it the hard way, which is scenes. And let's just see what the heck is going on with 089. First of all, is there anything in the folder? There is not. It's only the renders. Okay, that's all right. So now what we want to do is look over here. And we're looking for 089, and there it is. So we've got 089 cra, and then we've got 089.ping.cra. And I think I already opened both of those, but just to do my due diligence, I'll go ahead and do that again. I'm pretty sure I already looked at those. Open many documents. Okay. Yeah, it just makes me wonder if this is actually a modified version of the shot, because this is a close-up-ish, right? So maybe I took the original version and just painted over it because I knew I was going to change it. you know, again, that would be pretty unusual for me to do something like that. But when you're doing this many shots, every once in a while, friends, every once in a while, it all becomes a bit of a blur. So that's okay. Let's get rid of this. And I guess the question becomes, how big of a problem is this? The change in Luka's... Well, wait a second. I want to look at the... You know I just touched this up not that long ago. Because I remember doing the painting. The background, in other words. Huh. Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to just skip it. We're going to skip it for now. Yeah, it's a little strange. This one's reversed. So let's take a look at this one. Media. Ah, here we go. Yeah, it's 089 render. And then the other one's got the close-up. So, yeah, oh well. What are you going to do? Worst case scenario is you got to reproduce it, which is... I don't know if that's ever happened on this show, actually. So, no big deal. We will come back to it. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for... I can't believe Maria is not here tonight. Maria's always here. The one time I need her to be here, she's not here. What is up with that, people? Huh? What's up with that? In fact, I may have Maria take a poke at Carliana, this woman, Tianara's mother. It'd be interesting to see what she does with it. She's got a nice voice, I tell you. Takes more than just a nice voice. I mean, you know, it takes a little acting ability or whatever, but she's got the raw materials to start with. Okay, so that shot is definitely... That was touched up recently. But really, I think that background should be defocused just a bit. Let's jump over here. Hey, Soda Pop. Hey, Blifton. So, I am going to open up 121 and see what we have here. Well, I tell you, I might wrap it up fairly early-ish too, because, you know, one of the main reasons I even hopped on tonight was because because Maria always shows up, and I knew she'd want to hear how her voiceover fit into the show. So, okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to duplicate the background, okay, and then I'm going to filter. Let's just do a Gaussian blur. Yeah, something like that. Okay. But I don't want it to be defocused at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is hit the old airbrush. Hit the E key so we're in erase mode. Then we're just going to start erasing down here. So that the closer part of the background is not defocused. And just send her a message on Discord if you have questions. Yeah, that's true. I know that. That's true. I'll do that right now. Just 'cause why not? Direct messages. Create a direct message to... And it does not look like... Well, I'm not going to struggle with this here live on YouTube. That's stupid. But basically, I think, she comes around the Discord server a lot, obviously. But I think technically we aren't friends, and it's not clear to me that I can actually direct message her if we're not actually quote-unquote friends. There she is. Well, I'm going to message her right now. Are you around? Wanted to show you your voice acting debut. So there you go. And I will add her as a friend, which, I think that's just a little step that we both kind of miss. So anyway, good idea, Blifton. So, okay, so this looks good. Let's check the render settings. Control R. 121, and that is correct. So, fortunately, the render settings are baked into the Krita files these days. So, that was a pretty quick and easy way to defocus the background on this particular shot. There we go. Yeah, if you switch screens there, goofy boy. So what else is going on with you guys? What's going on tonight? I've just been doing post-production all day, man. It's been audio. The sound effects of those bowls, for example. There's a lot of little things you got to do to. Oh, you know what? And by the way, thank you guys for reminding me. Oh wait, you didn't. That I needed to put that pendant in there. Doggone it! I swear, I can't take you guys anywhere. Okay, so we need this and this. Can't believe I forgot the stupid pendant. Maria! Okay, so Maria's here, so now we can finally do this. Finally! I've been waiting all night, Maria. I didn't want to give away too much of the show. Okay? But I did want to show people your voice acting debut because I loved it. I thought it was great. So first I'll tease everybody by showing you guys the voice of Tianara.
Of course. How can I help?
That's my daughter, Natalie. Oh, she's good. Okay, so since there's more people here now, I'll go ahead and show you guys. Here's the abbreviated. I'll just show you the first section of the show right up to the point where Maria did her voiceover, which is this character right here, the villager. And then we'll stop because, as I said earlier, all of this stuff here is what I've been working on post-production. It's Foley, footsteps, sound effects, yada yada yada. Walla, you guys know what Walla is? Walla is like when you have just sort of nondescript sounds of a crowd in the background. It's pretty weird because the first back around must have been around 2009 or 10 when I got this 6-picture deal. The first film I did on that picture, which I'm not particularly proud of, but in the archives for that movie, which is what we're seeing here in the file browser, I actually had a bunch of pretty good sound effects, and I had some Walla that sounded like a village, like a outdoor market kind of situation. In fact, the voices, if you listen really closely, you probably won't be able to hear it here, but the voices actually are not even English. They're not speaking English. I have no idea what language they're speaking. But anyway, so you're going to get the abbreviated intro.
My name is Asher.
And then the beginning
And
of the show.
this is the story of Melchizidek, Tianara, and Luka, 3 youngsters and a monkey in a desperate quest to save their land. Everyone be patient. There's plenty for all. There you are.
Bless you, Asher. I wish we didn't need the help, but with the king's taxes so high...
Oh, it's nothing. Where is Melchizedek?
Okay, so we'll stop it there. Like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but this is the Oscar-worthy moment.
Bless you, Asher. I wish we didn't need the help, but with the king's taxes so high...
Oh, it's nothing.
Isn't that great? Good job, Maria. Just excellent. Yeah, that's you. That's you. Can you believe it? I actually did have to, yeah, it says right here, Maria Torres. I had to do a little bit of time stretching on one word, because you can cut it apart and stretch it a little bit, and whatever. So yeah, that is Maria. You guys want to hear it again? It's really good.
Bless you, Asher. I wish we didn't need the help, but with the king's taxes so high...
Oh, it's nothing.
I tell you, So, anyway, that's that. Today it was pretty much sound effects day. So all this stuff, this walla here, like, if you listen to this, it's probably hard to hear because you generally don't want this kind of stuff too loud. Well, okay, that's not really what I'm talking about, but... So you can hear the little bowls clinking, and you can just kind of hear people in the background. Occasionally some birds chirping, stuff like that. Yeah. Like I said, that's what you got to do. And so Maria has proven that by just being an extremely cool person, sometimes you get these crazy opportunities. And now, you know what, Maria, I kid you not, once we get the show out on the street, you'll have an IMDb credit for that too, for what that's worth. Probably not much, but it is, kind of cool. Yipper. So, anyway, the abbreviated intro, the whole concept was we wanted I say we, really me. The first episode of the show had the full 1 minute intro, and I figured if we're going to release webisodes that are like 4 or 5 minutes long, it's kind of almost like I would find it annoying if you had to sit through the full, the full 1 minute introduction. I was really almost tempted to cut it down to even less, but 30 seconds felt okay. It seemed pretty good. And what I may do, let me run that again. Because what I wanted to do is reposition in a concise way what this is about. And so that's why this is the story of Melchizedek, Tianara, and Luka, and a monkey, right? Having established that, it could be I'll run that on 2 episodes, and then maybe around episode 3 or 4, cut it down to something that's just like, 10 seconds long. So...
My name is Asher, and this is the story of Melchizedek, Tianara, and Luka, 3 youngsters and a monkey in a desperate quest to save their land.
So there you go. I thought that was a concise way to really capture what the show's actually all about, and so, there it is, friends, there it is. Okay, so now, what were we doing? Well, we forgot the doggone pendant. So what we'll do is we'll create an extra layer. B key, gonna be the old pencil. And what we'll do is we'll put the pendant in there. And then, this probably should be tinted red. And then I just need to save the 2 drawings out, and That's probably, actually for this, I'm thinking we could probably go right there. And then re-render it. Very good summation and creates anticipation. Good, good, good. Cool. That's what we're going for. We want anticipation on the front end, and we want leave them wanting more on the back end. And I think it's, you know what? I gotta say, this is where I, 'cause every once in a while I kind of pump the whole, Patreon thing. But it really is true that right now I've basically given this about, I'm closer to 2 hours than 1 right now, because I'm kind of into it, and I'm really wanting to get this next webisode done. But truly my commercial clients are, there's a lot going on. I mean, 2022 is looking like it's going to be a pretty busy year, frankly. And so if the if the show gets some traction, and I can justify it, then it'd be wonderful to be able to give it full time. So obviously I'm not going to, in any case, neglect my current customers. But it's a question of whether you're kind of out there fishing for new business. Are you going to look for new customers? We'll see. What's the point? The point is, actually, I can say with confidence that if I was working on this 8 hours a day, cranking out a 4 or 5 minute webisode every couple weeks is not ridiculous. I mean, not ridiculous at all. Just doing what I'm doing, and I'm really having fun doing it too, even though it's kind of a lot of work. I really am. So that's my goal. That's my my objective, is to turn this show ...12 episodes of it into a full-time operation. Okay, so now I need some goldish color. I'll hit the G key and we'll do it in behind mode. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay, that wasn't supposed to be burn mode, silly goose. But that's okay. Oh, I wish Krita would allow you to set the default for that tool. It always defaults to curve mode, which means it does smoothing. And I've said this many times here, but I'll say it again. I don't think there is one time I have ever used the freehand path tool where curve mode or the smoothing has actually been a desirable thing. I don't think it's happened one time. Maybe one time, but I don't think so. I don't remember it. Okay, so let's go ahead and punch this up a little bit. Let's punch it up a little bit for this shot. Why not? We'll just go a little bit further. Catch those edges. That looks pretty good. In fact, I wonder if we could even do it down here. If you think about it, if the light was coming down here, if this has any kind of lip at all, then that's going to catch the light like that, right? Of course it is. Okay, that feels pretty good. So now what we'll do is we'll go copy layer, and we'll jump over here, and we'll just click here and go paste layer. We'll just paste it in. Now we can save this. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm saving the individual images that I hand painted in Krita to the hard drive, so that I can then reopen the shot. Which one was this? Oh, I'm going to take a wild chance that maybe it was 116. Yes. Whew. And now you can see by reloading it, the pendant appeared. It's there. And so now all we got to do is hit Control-Shift-R, and it re-renders it. And Dave, do you do any voice changing software to push the voice further? There's basically, well, I actually demonstrated this a little bit earlier. I don't know if you were here yet, but the thing I said about the voice of Luka. So there's basically three things you do. Okay. Get the voice. And then especially if I'm working with someone else's voice, then there's the issue of time stretching, making it fit time-wise. Potentially there's the matter of pitch. Okay. So, for example, if I want to do the voice of Luka, Luka is essentially a Indian or maybe Pakistani, I don't know, but that's basically who he is. Okay? So the way I do Luka is I'm going to first find the accent. The accent is going to be the voice of Sadhguru. Okay? So now that we get the Indian kind of thing happening, now I can consider raising the pitch. Alright? This is what I would do. And now I'm going to raise the pitch up. And now this would be the voice of Luka. You know, he sounds like he's kind of a young boy. And he's from India. And then on top of that, if I give him a little bit of pitch transposition, perhaps a half a step. Okay, so that's how that works for me. Other people may have a different methodology. So now and then in the software, you do have the ability to let's go to Maria's voiceover. So in her case, whoops, hello. So let's take this line.
With the king's taxes so high.
Now, if we wanted that to take longer, in other words, if it didn't really fit the animation, I could stretch it. Okay.
With the king's taxes so high.
Oh, it's nothing.
With the king's taxes so high.
Oh, it's...
And actually, if you close your eyes and don't watch the cartoon, frankly, there is something to recommend that version of it, to stretch that word out a little bit like that.
With the king's taxes so high.
Oh, it's...
But the way I animated it, it wouldn't really fit, so I'm not going to do that. But you could, you know. So as far as timing, sometimes you just cut things apart. In Maria's case, you can see that this was cut a minimum of 4 times. So it was definitely retimed a little bit. And I'm not sure if any of it is time stretched. But we have there's a time stretching sort of library, I guess you'd say, or subsystem that is called Elastique, that's baked into Reaper. So the developers of Reaper don't develop Elastique, but Elastique shows up in a lot of software, like music software and stuff like that, which does a very, you have to stretch or squash the timing a lot before it becomes something that you notice as being a problem. So now the other thing you can do, in the case of Luka, for example, let me see. And I'm going to give the caveat that I'm not totally sure I'm completely happy with what I did here. But...
Oh, you mean him? Oh, he just follows me around.
Okay. I don't know if I quite got the accent right. Oh, you mean him? Oh, he just follows me around. Well, I think I added... if we look at the effects here, I'm pretty sure I added... he's actually pitched up 2 semitones, so one whole step. So he's pitched up a little bit. So that's another thing you could do. Now, if a person was really going to go crazy and you actually wanted to, like if I had a recording from someone else where the inflection just didn't work because maybe I wanted it to sound like they were asking a question, which means you're going to, when you ask a question, your pitch goes up at the end of the sentence, right? Just like I just did. Goes up at the end of the sentence, right? It scoops up. So if you had to, I've done this one time. It's only come up once where I really had to do it, but you could actually go in and take the pitch and we'll take the shift in sense, and I'm gonna turn on automation for that, if you could believe this. And now, if I wanted to, I actually could pitch transpose it.
Oh, you mean him? Oh, he just follows me around.
And you could actually animate, if you will, the pitch modification. So yeah, you're right. Well, that's right, Amar. You're completely right. The challenge with the Indian accent is definitely to not have it sound like Irish, Scottish, that type of thing. So I just don't know that I necessarily nailed it with that take. But here's the thing. One of the things... This actually speaks back to the whole idea of, you know, with whatever it is you're working on, just go for it. Because I actually believe that one of the great dangers in business, frankly, not just creative work, but business in general, because this is coming up in some of my consultations with clients, is that, I'm going to reload this, by the way, because I just don't want, I'm having a hard time getting rid of the envelope, and I don't want it in there, so I don't want to save the current project. But one of the mistakes we make is that we try to predict. Okay, so we want to predict an outcome, and so we overplan. Okay, now to a degree you can do that. I mean, it's not bad to have an outline, but I showed it the other day when I was doing the rough animation of Golik, where it turns out when you're working with a really, you know, you're zooming out and getting the big picture, well, then planning is quite useful. You know, your story needs to have a beginning and a middle and an end. You basically have a rough idea of what's, you know, where you're going on your trip. But the thing is, we have a really strong tendency, and I'm saying this to say that we have a voice over here that probably isn't good enough. But that's okay. I'd rather get it in there, see how it's feeling.
Oh, you mean him?
You know, how does it work with the
he just
video?
follows me around.
And then I'll come back in another pass, maybe 2 days ago, and I'll say, you know what, that voiceover is not good enough. Let's go ahead and redo that. And that happens over and over and over again. And what I do is you build it out. I call it building it out or building it up. You build it up in layers of which isn't always adding things. A lot of times it's taking things away. But there's a powerful principle to that, in that if you try to overplan, not only will you will almost always be wrong. In other words, you can't predict no matter how hard you try. You'll never get it right the first time, right? And so if you believe that, if you say, well, axiomatically, it's true that I probably never will get it right the first time. The truth is, sometimes you do, but usually you don't. So it's like, why even try? Why even bother? Screw it. Who cares? Just rough it in and allow this really, really useful feedback loop to happen. And the idea of the feedback loop is that you do whatever you're going to do. You draw your picture, you make your voice, you play your music, you implement your website. This is, and then you let the feedback of the marketplace, or in the case of creative work, you get away from it for a day, and then you come back, and when you play it back with fresh ears or fresh eyes, all of a sudden you see things you didn't see before because you were too close to it, So what I'm saying is, if you allow that feedback loop to be part of your normal process, where your attitude is, I never get anything right the first time, and I don't even expect to, and I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to whip out the first thing that comes to my mind, or the first thing that comes out of my stylus if I'm drawing. And then allow yourself to critique, maybe go get some reference, compare it with the work you did yesterday, whatever. But the point is that you go into it assuming you're not going to get it right the first time, assuming that this feedback loop of revision is part of the process. I only make that point because if you're a fledgling artist trying to sort of find your way creatively, there's a lot of fear associated with screwing up or sounding stupid or looking stupid or doing a stupid job. There's a lot of fear. I mean, that's perfectly natural. People don't want to look stupid, and they don't want have their fears that they're not good enough get reinforced, right? I mean, the good news is basically nobody cares anyway. It's not like anybody's really paying attention to what you're doing. Nobody's paying attention to what I'm doing, really, right? And so I think, point of lecture is that you cheerfully assume that you're never even going to come close to getting it right the first time. And you see that natural feedback loop and that revision process it's just part of the process. And by the way, this is the crazy thing. Now, this is probably, if there's anything I'm saying tonight that's wise that everybody ought to listen to and think about, it's this. Can you imagine the attitude that artists, and especially, as I say, fledgling creatives, you think about the attitude they bring to their art where it's so consequential, it's so big of a deal, and so they're afraid to fail, and so they don't see that continuous revision process and feedback process as part of it. Well, think about it. Can you imagine paying somebody $80,000 a year as an engineer to engineer a product that's going to go to market, that's going to cost you $10 million to bring that product to market? Do you ever think that engineer sees it any other way? And Sifter's right. It's not that it's not fun. That's actually not true. It is fun to get it right. It is fun. And it is also true that as you gain experience and techniques and craft, of course, at the risk of repeating yourself, at that risk, you do get better at nailing it out of the gate. But at the same time, that's where you're correct when you say, where's the journey in that? It might be fair to say, where's the fun in that? Think about it. If there was complete certainty about your outcomes, there would be no surprise. There would be no variety, So, anyway, I just say that because I know a lot of the people come here probably are, for lack of a better term, fledgling creatives that probably, some of this stuff does seem pretty consequential. And I'm the same way. Frankly, when I was doing the musical score for the first webisode of Salt and Light, I was pretty knotted up for a couple weeks where I couldn't just go, and figure, well, if I screw it up, I'll revise, so everything I'm saying, I say to myself. These are all lessons I've learned. Okay, so, you downloaded a bunch of reference of male ballet dancers. Oh, great idea, Maria. I'm glad you did that. You're never, ever, ever gonna, fail to benefit from using like real world reference in your drawing. Even if you're drawing cartoons, it doesn't matter. Everything that drawing from life in particular will always make your drawing better, even if it's cartoon. So Baryshnikov in slow motion. Wow, yeah, he was the man. After I show, I'm going to use him to create my Harlequin. Okay, well, I look forward to seeing the next version. Now, here's the caveat about that: is sometimes I've seen this happen again with me. So sometimes when your technique improves, you sort of come to the work and you're pretty stoked because you've been drawing better, let's say, or whatever. It often will happen when you've made those jumps, because that's the way you tend to plateau, and then you jump, and then you plateau, and then you jump in terms of your growth as an artist. So what does sometimes happen is two things. One is you feel like you took a jump, and then the very first thing you do once you're in that mode actually can turn out to be a disappointment. So be prepared for that. Partly because maybe the jump isn't as big as you thought it was. Number one. Number two, the particular thing you're working on right now may include a challenge that you haven't grown into yet. You right? And then the other thing is when your abilities do improve, you begin to see a bunch of other things that now also need to improve that you literally couldn't see before. So you sort of gain discernment. So anyway, take that for what it's worth. Just so this is sort of my fatherly attitude, I think, when I want people to enjoy the ride creatively and not be disappointed when they have setbacks. But the setbacks are definitely part of the process. They're very, very, very important. If you learn from them. If you don't learn from them, you'll just keep having the same ones over and over again. So anyway, okay, so I've been live streaming for over an hour. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because, yeah, it's 8:30. I need to get Zuko to bed. And basically, I'm probably ready to quit for today because I did do quite a bit of audio work and I'm not really feeling that fresh and creative. So unless someone has any languishing questions. Yes. Oh, that's so true, Maria, with writing. Writing, I mean, I think about what I do. You've got music, animation, and writing. That's pretty much the core things. And they're all the same. They're all the same journey, very, very, very similar. So, anyway, if that is it, then I am going to sign off and probably won't be on tomorrow. I expect, because right now I've got about another 30 to 40% of this that I need to get the audio and the voices all laid in. And then I've got to get to music. You guys may find you might find it interesting if I turn the music on here. You might be surprised how.
Everyone be patient. There's plenty for all. There you are.
Bless you, Asher.
Isn't
I
that
wish we didn't need the help, but with the king's taxes so high...
Oh, it's nothing. Where is...
So that's literally the music from webisode 1. And up to this point, weird as it is, you'd be surprised how often this happens. The music's actually working just fine and may be able to be used without any without any change at all, or very, very little. There was like one little bumper, like comedic bumper in episode 1 that I just took it out and the rest of the music works. So, but I have to do all that. I mean, obviously, I've got to get all the music going. So there's quite a lot yet to do, but I think I'm definitely on track to release the webisode by the beginning of February. So maybe quicker. We'll see. So, all right. Peace to you too, Soda Pop. And with that, as you guys know, there will be more later.